Hi crafters, it's Hannah from Handcrafted Creations. Welcome to my craft room today. I don't have a lot of chat to tell you about today. I don't think there's any chat in fact. So we're pretty much going to get straight into the crafting. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, the only thing is if you want a catalogue, to let me know. If you're not already on my list, then I will send the new catalogue out to you as soon as it is available to send, which is very soon, and you'll be able to order from it very soon as well. And there are some amazing stuff in there. And don't forget that the retirement list is up, so all the products that are going to be retiring when the new catalogue comes out, that list is up, and all those things are while stocks last. So don't forget, if there's anything that you like on the list, then get in there quick because they're going to be going. So with that being said, we pretty much are ready to start crafting. We've got Mum over on the chat, so if you've got any questions, then just type them into the chat and she'll shout them out to me. Can you hear me okay? Yep, awesome. So I'm going to flip the camera around and then we can get going. Okay, so my lighting seems a little bit weird today. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but it just doesn't look good today to me anyway. So if it looks a little bit off, then that's why. So we're going to be using this week Butterfly Basics, one of my favorite stamp sets that is retiring unfortunately, and we're going to be using the dies that coordinate with it as well. So I've got a few cards for you with this stamp set. Also on Wednesday, the Challenge Wednesday card is using this stamp set as well. So we've got lots of fun projects coming up with this set. So the first thing that we're going to do is stamp the big image, and I'm going to stamp that with Memento because I'm going to do a little bit of colouring in with the Stampin' Blends, and that is the the ink that it recommends to use. I knew that was going to happen. It's just been one of those days. Oh my gosh. No, that's not salvageable. Let's flip it over and try again. Yeah, it's just been one of those days today. I broke a lead that I need for my computer when I was trying to move my stuff around, and so that just sort of what am I trying to say? That was really annoying. So I was trying to find the lead online, which I kind of could have done with having for class today, but I couldn't get it anywhere quick enough. So while I was out and about, I thought, oh, let me try and find one, and I could not find one anywhere. So I have kind of had to jig things around a little bit so I can I can see kind of what I'm doing, but not fully over there because my computer's over that side. So it's just been one of those days. Anyway, I've stamped the image and I've got the Stampin' Blends in Old Olive, the light and dark, and I've just got the light of the Cherry Cobbler. So I'm not going to take a long time over this colouring. I'm just going to do it quite quickly. Zoom in a smidge. See, it doesn't seem to be focusing as well as it used to. It might just be me, I don't know. Whoops. So just really quickly, well, colouring in the leaves. So I've already coloured and cut out the flowers because we're going to pop those up. So I thought, save you watching me doing the fussy cutting, I've done that already. It didn't take long to do, but just thought, seeing as I'm going to do some colouring and all that jazz, I would do that bit ahead of time. So I'm literally just doing the stems. Oh, I didn't need to do that bit. Oh well. So yeah, just the stems and the leaves I'm gonna do. So then use the darker one to just go over the lines that's already just in the stamped image, so you don't have to think about where to add the shadow. They're already there for you, so you just go over those lines. And a lot of the stamps have shading in the image, so all you have to do is just go over the lines. So it makes it easier if you're not too confident with where to add shadow and all that stuff, which to be fair I don't really know. I just sort of do whatever kind of looks alright and think, oh well, yeah, that's pretty much my expertise on colouring. Just do whatever. And then for the flowers, I am still going to colour them in, just because when it's popped up you will see underneath, but I'm not going to go over it a lot, just really quickly. So this first card is quite quick, and it's going to be pretty simple really, and then sort of add a few more techniques in the other cards. So for this one it's just pretty much just colouring. That'll do. Okay, so this is going to get stuck onto a piece of rose red cardstock, one of the colours that is retiring, like so. Okay, and then on the actual card base I want to do some stamping. I want to take this leafy shape, and I think maybe just a leafy shape. So block try and make sure it's stuck. Oh dear. So yeah, wild wasabi. So this is going to get stuck on the right hand side, so I'm going to stamp some of this coming down on the left hand side. So just make sure that's stuck. So we're just going to go down there. So inking it up well, and then make sure it's the right way, and then just stamp. And I'm not re-inking, I'm just going to keep stamping until it's faded out, and then have a look. I think that looks alright. I might add a couple more just to fill it out a little bit. I'm going to stamp off one and then go back in and then down again, so it's just filled it out a little bit there. So it doesn't matter that this is all messy, because it's all going to get covered up and you're just going to see the ends. Alrighty then. And then I've got another piece of Whisper White and the Rose Red for the sentiment, which I'm going to use from the set which says, yeah, that's the one, the Butterfly Sentiment. That block's a bit big. Okay, and I'm going to do that in the Memento. sure I've got it the right way around. I think it's that way. Yeah, that'll do. Not perfect, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. I think I need an early night tonight. Oh dear. My brain's just not been with it today at all. Okay, so that's that. I do want to stamp one more little bit, and I haven't got the scraps of Whisper White. Could you pass them, please? So I forgot to grab a little scrap just so I can stamp a butterfly. So this is going to go on the right, leaving a little border around. Thank you very much. So I just need a little scrap to stamp a little butterfly. So, and I'm going to stamp him. I'm going to do it in black actually. Let's stamp that. And boop. So that I am going to cut out. And where are my scissors? Oh, there they are. Whoops, sorry. So really quickly going to cut the butterfly out. So when you fussy cutting, you've probably heard me say this before, keep your scissors still and move your cardstock, and you're basically just wiggling it round and leave a bit of a white border, so if your lines squiff, it doesn't matter. And oops, try not to cut his bottom off. So that's the butterfly. It doesn't take very long really. And we're done. Okay. So I'm going to stick the sentiment down, and all the other bits will pop up. So I'm going to do that about there. And then using the mini dimensionals, so I've already stamped the flowers and coloured them in before, so we will pop all of them up. Let's grab my poker tool. And dimensional on the back of each one. Okay. So then we just line up the flower with each one. Is that way into it? So all the flowers are nicely popped up. You could leave some of them without popping them up as well. That would look, you know, to have some up, some down. That would look good, but I decided, whoops, to pop them all up on this one. Okay. Then that one. And then just our butterfly. So just curving the wings up slightly. then he'll go there. Ta-da! So that's our first card. We've got our dimensional flowers. There you go, turn it that way. And yeah, that's pretty simple, I think, for the first card. So just a bit of stamping and colouring. So that's card number 1 done. Let me just clean this butterfly off. Alrighty then, for our next card we will be using we'll be doing some embossing and then some stamping. We're using the Fluttering Textured Impressions embossing folder, and we're going to do what I think it's the letterpress technique. That's what I've called it in the description. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but if it's called something else, let me know. Let me know, but I'm pretty sure that is what it's called. So we've got a Island Indigo card base to start off with, and then we've got a piece that we're going to do the stamping on for the background, so we'll do that first. And it kind of doesn't matter too much what is stamped on this because it's partly going to be covered, and we're just going to see the middle section there, so that's the only place really you need to stamp. And we're going to stamp in Island Indigo. So we're going to cut, no, we're going to stamp even just a few images. And I'm going to stamp off as well. So we've got some lighter ones, and then some of the little flower. And so just sort of fill in just the middle part. And that's probably going to be about enough. Yeah. I might do a little bit of this one in the soft sky I've got over here as well, because we're going to use the soft sky ink in a second. So I may as well use some of that. So just going to stamp a little bit in the background just to give it a little bit more texture as well. Okay, so that's the background piece done, so you can just put that to the side for a second. Now you want to bring in your I've got a second piece of Island Indigo that's bigger than the Whisper White, because this is what we're going to cut the window in. So from this one we'll use the butterfly from the Bold Butterflies die set. Let me just close these so I'll stick my fingers in for sure. So we're going to cut that butterfly first, then emboss the piece of cardstock that's left. And I'm going to bring in the big shot just so you can see what we're doing. And I've got the precision base plate. So with the precision base plate you take off the one of your acrylic plates, and this goes down instead, but you do it that side up. So just going to center the butterfly in the middle towards the top, and then run that through. And I'm just bringing it back through because my my computer's there, so it can't get all the way through. Okie dokie. Move that over. So if you flip your die cut over to make sure it's all cut, if you look closely, it kind of looks like pencil lines. So you can see that it has actually cut everything. So if you looked and it didn't look like a pencil line, then you could just run it back through. But that looks good to me. So we'll pop that out. And I've got my die brush here, just to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to keep both parts, so that part and the butterfly. We're going to actually use both. And make sure you clean your die before you put it away, because if you're like me, you'll have forgotten that you die cut with it, and it won't cut properly next time. Okay, so that's the butterfly part done. So for this part now, we're going to take the fluttering impressions embossing folder. Oh my goodness. So you've got one side of the embossing folder that's raised, and then the other side is indented. So what we're going to do is put some ink on the raised side, so when we put the cardstock in, that ink will get pushed into the cardstock. So just get my plates ready. So with the soft sky ink, we're just going to sweep the ink, making sure it's the raised side. Sweep the ink pad across, or you can dab, whichever technique you prefer. So you can just see where the ink is. Then take your cardstock and line it up. Hopefully that's straight. Then we'll run that through the big shot. So if you're using the platform that's got the thin die adapter on, you take that off. So just one acrylic plate on the bottom and one on top. Then we can run that through. There we go. And now, when we take it off, you'll see the ink, whoops, has been pressed into the butterflies. So just a cool technique. I'm almost 100% sure it's called letterpress, or it's letterpress like, so it's not exactly letterpress but something very similar. So then just to clean that, I'll just wipe it over with a baby wipe or a paper towel, which I don't seem to have on right here. No worries, I'll do it after. I'll pop it there. So that's all. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, you can just wipe it over. Because it's plastic, it'll come off dead easy. There you go. Nice and clean. Okay. Right, now, where's me? Oh, there it is. So this piece is going to sit underneath. So you'll see it pop through. And then we can basically put the rest of it together. That is pretty much the card done, to be fair. So I'm just going to use some wet glue, just because this is embossed and it's got texture, and the wet glue does better with texture. And I can get this into place. It doesn't have to be particularly straight or even because it's going to be covered. Okay, then glue this down. And this piece is slightly smaller than the card, so it's got a border around the edge as well. Let's give that a good press down, like so. And then this piece that we cut out before, we're going to pop that back in, but really curl those wings up, and then we can just stick down the body part so you'll see the pattern underneath. And I'm going to use glue dots, just a couple of glue dots underneath his body, on there, and one on his tail, and then you can just slot it back into the gap, the body part, and give that a really good press down. And then that, pop the wings up. Middle bit's really flat, but the wings are popped up. And then of course we need to add some bling to his body. So I'm just going to add a couple of small rhinestones. Or just the one. Yeah, I think just one teeny tiny little rhinestone. So you can see the pattern underneath, and then the letterpress is what I'm calling it. If it's wrong, I don't know. Technique here. So you've got some colour as well as the embossing, and then you've got your die cut butterfly there. So you've got some texture going on and all that good stuff. So I'm just having a quick look. Hello everybody in the comments. Oops. Right. Okay. So that's card number 2. Card number 3 is using that butterfly again. So we'll bring him in, but this time we're going to cut him with Flirty Flamingo. So I'll do that in a second. I'm going to do some stamping on for the background first, is what we're kind of going to focus on to start with. So this one and the next one, they're going to be a little bit similar, as in we're sort of creating a bit of a collagey background. But for this one, to start with, we're going to use the hardwood stamp set and Sahara sand ink. So you're kind of going to have tone on tone sort of look. So I'm not going to put this on a block, I'm just going to put it down flat. It's one thing that's something I do often with these big type background stamps, is I just ink it up flat down on the table or your surface. So ink, 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 like so. Then put your cardstock on top. Oh, and that's not even. And then use a block just to press it down. I'm not pressing down too hard, just quite lightly. So then you've got a light wood grain effect. And I missed the bottom off. Oh dear. Let's see if it looks too weird if I just do this. That's fine. I'm good with that. So clean that off. So I do love these big background stamps. There's quite a few of them, and I really want to get some more because it's so quick to just make something that looks really good. So that's that one done. Then I'm going to bring in wild wasabi, and where's my other colour? A bit of elegant eggplant, I think. So again, we're gonna well, not again, like I said, we're going to be stamping the background. So just, you can pick a few colours or one colour. This would look really good, sort of monochromatic type thing. And I can't find me see, I've got my haha, I cannot find words today. I've got my ideas on my computer. I've got like pictures and pictures and pictures of cards, and I can't find the one that I'm looking at. Anyway, I'll figure it out. So this leafy guy, we're gonna stamp first. And I'm going to try and cross over the stems. So I've done 2 full strength and 1 half strength. Okay. Then I just want a few little butterflies in the background. See, this is quite a quick one because yeah, it's just a little bit of stamping. I'm going to use Perfect Plum instead, actually, because it's muted, more muted colours in the background. So I'm going to stamp him and stamp off. Oh, that's dark. Stamp him and stamp off, so he's quite light. See? And then a couple of the little flower, and again stamp it and stamp off. Where should we put this one? Down there. So you could go with a lot of lighter colours for this one, because on the background it looks quite soft and delicate, which is that's kind of the look that I'm going for on this one. And then I think I'm going to leave it at that, actually, because we've got quite a bright colour for the butterfly, so that's going to stand out quite bold compared to the background, which is kind of muted. So let's just cut our butterfly. So bring the big shot in, and I'm actually getting through the cards quite quickly today for some reason. We seem to be flying through. We're already onto card number 3. So just cut this guy out. No, that's not right. Ah, forgot to put the thin die adapter in. So you can tell with the when you're die cutting when it's not the right sandwich. It just won't feel right. It either won't go through at all, or it'll go through too easy. You know something's missing. And that looks good. So let me move this big thing out of the way. Then we can pop out our butterfly. So all the bits will come out quite easily because of using the precision base plate. It does make, well, I've found anyway that it makes everything pop out really easily. And these are all cut, they haven't fallen out, so just pop them out. Am I the only one that actually finds popping out the die cut pieces quite relaxing? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, I'm a bit weird, I know. So I'm not using this on this card, but I will keep it for another card because that looks quite pretty. So we can do something similar to the last card that we did. So keep that. And then we're just going to simply pop down our butterfly. But I do want, before I stick it down, some sort of twininess or something. Oh, I know. Let's grab the, oh, stretch. There we go. I've got the burlap. So, whoops, that's me chair squeaking. I'm just going to cut a little bit of burlap for our butterfly to sit on. So I've cut it at a diagonal angle on that side, and I'll just wrap it around the back. So I'm just sort of covering a little bit of where the stems are. So if I just put down my adhesive on the back, and then pop that into place. And then just wrap it round and press it really well into that glue. Whoops. And then pop that on our card front. Like so. And then to keep this down, just a little bit of fuse, just a spot, just to make sure it doesn't wibble, and really press it down so it doesn't pop back up. And then, like with the last one, I'm going to use glue dots on the back. To stick this guy down. And again, curling his wings up and putting him half on the burlap and half off. No, that way looks better, doesn't it? And really press him down into that burlap. We don't want him flying off. Did you see what I did there? Oh dear. Okay, and of course, bling, 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 bling. This time, I'm going to add a few little rhinestones down his body. Una, dos, and tres. 3. Okie dokie, that's so not straight. There. Phew. Okay, so you've got a nice muted background and then a really bold coloured butterfly. So he really stands out. And I'm not putting a sentiment on this one either. I didn't on the last one because they could go for quite a few different occasions. So sometimes when I do cards, I like to leave them without sentiments, so then I can decide when I use it what it's going to be. So that's card number 3. We have one more left to go, and I'm just going to declutter my workspace a tad because there is stuff everywhere. I don't know if you look after I've finished live, go on my Instagram, then you sort of see the craftermath. Oh, I always do a picture so you can see the mess that I create when I'm creating, because it's kind of it gets a bit crazy, but you know what, it should be. We're crafting and having fun. So can you guess what we're doing next? My favorite. Yeah, heat embossing. I tell you, I love it. It never ever gets old. So this card was actually designed by Shelley Gardner. She designed it with Dawn Griffin. Shelley Gardner is the, what is she now? She's not the CEO anymore. She's the something or other of Stampin' Up. It was her company. She made the company basically with her sister. But she's not CEO anymore. I forget what her title is now. Manager of something. Anyway, and she designed this card with Dawn Griffin. I believe it was when she hit a big milestone in her sales. She got to craft with Shelley, which would be awesome. So you may have seen this card before, but it just looks so good that I thought I would make it again. I'm just making sure I've got space because I'm going to do some heat embossing. So I need a bit of scrap. Okay, good to go. So I've got my embossing buddy, and I'm just covering this piece of Whisper White with all the powdery goodness that's in the embossing buddy. And I've got white embossing powder and Versamark, and I'm going to be using the whatever that thing is called, image. Yes, palm tree-ish. And I'm just making sure it's really clean before we get going, and really stuck because I don't want it to drop off. Okay, right. Versamark first, and I'm just going to ink that up. Oops. And we're going to stamp one there, and then another one a little bit lower down, and then one at the top. Which way was it? That way? Like that. Something like that. So a couple at the bottom, couple at the top. And then white embossing powder. Just going to sprinkle that over. Like so. Yay. And I just gently tap it because you want the excess to fall off, but you don't want the image bit to fall off. So if you flick it too hard, you're just gonna flick everything off, which is kind of defeats the object of doing it in the first place. So we'll tip this back in. Close that. Okay. grab my heat gun, so it's going to get a little bit loud for a second. I don't really understand. Yes, I did make an embossing buddy with talcum powder in a pair of tights first. It worked. It did work, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I just find this easier now because I have it. But if you don't have it, then talcum powder in tights works perfectly well. So yeah, right. Hot. There. Okay. Skip. Okay. So you probably can't see much of that, but it is there. So I'm just getting. Where's it gone? Okay. So again, using the same image, we're going to do. Oh, hang on, which way should I do? No, we'll do the inking first. So perfect plum, and so I'm just starting on the edge. And then sort of going over where we've embossed. And then blending out those edges. There we go. Then flip it around and do the same up here. So we're just blending, making sure those edges don't look too harsh. So you want to soften, go over your edges, as in the edge of the ink, I mean, so it doesn't look too rough. Just want to soften them up nicely. And then I'm going a little bit darker at the root of our flowers. Well, not flowers, whatever they are. Like so. There we go. So you're almost colouring in the whole piece of cardstock with ink, but you're just leaving some lighter bits, some darker bits. And then you wipe over. So the ink that's sitting on top of the embossing will come off, and then it will pop. Okay. Now I've got Elegant Eggplant and that same stamp. And I'm going to stamp over the top, and it will resist the where we've embossed as well, but that we will clear up afterwards. So we're basically making a bit of a collage. And I think I'll go sort of crossover like so. And where have I just put that tissue? Oh, there it is. I'm just gonna rub it away, and so it kind of looks like it's behind. See? Cool. Love it. So we're just going to keep building up the image basically with the rest of the stamps from the set. So we can use a little of this one and the perfect plum. Stick. I don't like the feel of whatever's in there. I thought it was just baby powder, like talc inside the embossing buddy. I could be wrong, but I just assumed that's what it was. So I don't know. So I'm stamping off, so I've got some lighter as well. You can't touch glitter. Yeah. How on earth do you survive when you're crafting then if you can't touch glitter? Oh my goodness. So we'll use this long one and that one. I want this one in. Which should we go for? Perfect plum. The perfect plum is actually coming up darker than I thought it would. In my mind it was a lot lighter. It's fine, but just darker than I thought. Nearly. That was my own fault because I touched it. I'm going to try and get this straight. Just one of those days. Ah, that's fine though. I like it. And this guy. Okay. So how dark? Yeah. Stamp off one and then stamp it down. Stamp off. I don't know what, I just love this little postage stamp thing. It's just, I like it. Pop one down there. Even though you won't see it much, it'll still add some texture. And have a look. I think I'm done. So I want the sentiment to be about there. Okay. And we want to make sure this is stuck and stuck well. Let me just wipe off any extra ink on top of the embossing. Okay, so make sure it's stuck, and I'm stamping this in the elegant eggplant. Try and get it straight as possible. If I mess this up now, then yeah, because I'm not embossing this all over again. Ta-da! Yay! Perfecto. And nearly finished. Just need to add some. Oh, just grab. Where are we? Da, da, da. Just grabbing my markers, and I want the elegant eggplant marker. I'm just going to add some flicks. So let me just move those bits out of the way. So use the brush end of your marker inside the lid of the marker, and you just flick like so. So I don't know if you can see. So add some speckles, and you can do that with the Wink of Stella as well, and you'll get some ink in the lid, so I'll just use the nib just to wipe it up so you're not wasting really. Is it? Oh. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Sally. Is the sound all right for everybody else? Let me know. Yes. Speak now or forever hold your peace. I've got my elegant eggplant card base, and we're just going to stick this straight down. Fast fuse. That ended. Just grab a bit of tape. Oops. Okay. There we go. Okie dokie, so that is card number 4. So I'll bring the others in. So let's zoom out a smidge. So we've got our first card where we did some colouring and popped up the flowers. So this is all the one stamp set. Then we had our die cut window kind of card. Then our muted background card with a bold butterfly. And then this last one, which is one of my all-time favourite cards that I've ever seen. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, that's just awesome. So all using, let's try and get them all in, the Butterfly Basics stamp set. This does come in 2 cases, but I've just put them in one just to save space. So you've got all those images and those images there. So, but yes, it is a retiring stamp set, so if you want it, you kind of need to get in there quickly. Right, so thank you so much for watching today, everybody. Just having a little look at the comments. Can't touch the ribbon either. Oh my goodness. People, I don't know how you can live without glitter. It's just, oh yeah, it pains me. You need glitter in your life. I'm just joking, Audrey. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I will be back. Like I said, on Wednesday we have another tutorial using the butterfly stamp set. So if it's one of your favorites as well, then be sure to come back. on Wednesday. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can just leave them in the comments or send me a message. And I haven't forgotten, I forgot who it was that asked last week about a box for the cards we did last week. I haven't forgotten, I just haven't had time to actually write it up and put it on my blog. So I'm going to do that today, all being well. But I haven't forgotten. It's there, it's ready to go. I've done it, but I just need to write it up. So thank you for being patient with me, and I will see you all next week. Bye.